Hello everyone. Welcome to another live stream here at my YouTube channel. My name is Christina Werner, and tonight we're going to be creating some simple Valentine's Day cards with watercolor. These were heavily inspired by some different Valentine's Day ideas I saw on Instagram that I really wanted to try out. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So we're going to jump right in here because I have three Valentine's Day watercolor ideas that I wanted to try out with you all. And we're going to jump right in here. And I think this might be one of the more simple ones. What you do, I'm actually going to cut this down because it's kind of big. All right, let's cut it down. We only need about this much, almost the extent of a toilet paper roll. So basically you just like bend in one little section and you turn it into like a little heart, like a little wonky heart. Isn't that so fun? You can actually tape it so it'll stay in that shape. But then we're going to use this to do some watercolor. All right, let's get some watercolor paper. I'm using Strathmore 5x7 pre-cut paper. So in order to help me keep the paper from warping, I'm going to tape it down to a surface. If you're going to do this idea, which I saw kind of all over the place, like I mentioned, I saw it with cookie cutters, I saw it with paper towel rolls, like anything that's kind of like a heart shape, you can do this with. And the thing that I noticed that made it look really, really cool is if you have like different tones of pink and red and purple, or whatever color you're using. I think that looks really, really neat. I'm using my Magello Mission Gold watercolor paints today. So I know I'm gonna want my favorite pink that's right here. So let's just go ahead and get that started. So I'm gonna make a cute little heart shape. And I'm just bending, and it's gonna be wonky. We want it to be wonky. Okay, that's pretty good right there. Let's see if I can get this to actually work. Okay, pick up a bunch of that pink paint. Okay, so now we take a paintbrush with just clean water on it, and we're gonna try to pull color in from those edges. And it's okay if there's white spots that aren't painted, because that kind of lends itself to the whole look. You could even pick up a little extra pink, bring that in. But I just thought it was so fun, like a way to get kind of wonky hearts when sometimes like you can't really get that wonky look because, you know, you're a little, what's the word? It's hard to give up control, right? So someone who I saw on Instagram that did something similar, she has a lot of these that she's used a cookie cutter, is Mana Joy Paper Co. She's the third Instagram account I listed down below in the video description. So if you want to check someone out with those videos, those are really fun. I'm going to hit this with a heat tool to speed up the drying, and we're going to do additional colors on top, maybe like a red and a purple as well. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside. This is our first one for tonight. Eventually, once it's dry, we'll cut it down and put it on a card. The next idea, let me grab another hardboard so I can tape my watercolor paper to it. Okay, so you're gonna want something with like a very thin rim. We're gonna be stamping it like we did with the paper towel roll. So you're going to be stamping it down like that to create the circle. So you don't want anything that's like big. Like someone just said, a tape roll. You can't use a tape roll really because it would be too big. You'll see what I mean when I get going here. Okay. So this was an idea that was shared by Dear Ann Art on Instagram. And I just thought it was such a fun way to start a wreath. So we're going to start a wreath by kind of stamping kind of like a circular shape a couple of times, and then start to add just like some hearts and, you know, really organic like leaf shapes. And for this one, I want to say when she shared her wreath, she started with like a metallic gold paint. So I thought that would be kind of fun too. So I'm going to grab my go-to paints, my Christmas set from Muley Watercolors. I love her a lot. I love her so much that this gold, which I think is the color Star. Is it Star? Yes, it's the color Star. I've used that so much that I hardly have any left. I need to get a new pan. Okay, I've got quite a bit of paint going here. I'm going to see if oh, you know what? It's not thick enough. It just wants to drip. And it is kind of dripping up the glass a little bit, but that's okay. All right. And I'll even maybe rotate it a little bit. Okay, so we have that right there. And then I'm going to kind of go offset a little bit and stamp again. You can even go a third time. We're just trying to get like a really organic circular shape. All right, let's start with this pink shade. And you could definitely use regular watercolors for this, but I thought it'd be really fun with these kind of metallic shades. All right, basically what we're doing, we're making a wreath of hearts and maybe some little leaf shapes. So it doesn't have to be perfect. We want them to be a little wonky. So maybe just like a V shape. So it kind of looks like that. Do some other little paint strokes, just like 2 strokes, just like that. When I go to do a leaf, I just do like a start thin and get thick. And then I'm going to do it for both sides just so it kind of turns into a leaf shape. And then I'm going to do that twice just so I can get some little leaves. I thought that would be kind of cute. So maybe it's just a little stroke, a little, you know. None of these are really precise, so you can do lots with it. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to leave it as is, except I kind of like there's a little bit of gold coming into this purple over here. I think that looks kind of interesting. So I'm just going to add a little gold in there and see what happens. Maybe it'll add a little water to that and it kind of spreads out. I think it's kind of pretty. And for this one, we're going to be painting a full edge-to-edge pattern. That last one with the wreath, that was inspired by Dear Ann Arndt on Instagram. And this last one is inspired by Kristen Van Leuven. She is Hello Lovely People on Instagram. I've got these Instagram accounts linked down below. She did like a whole series on Instagram. She may have even shared on her YouTube channel. She did a whole series of tags for Christmas where she had a big sheet of watercolor paper and she did a whole pattern all the way across and then cut them into separate tags. And I was just really taken with one of her last patterns for her Christmas tags where she just showed some really simple flowers. And I thought it was just so fun. So we're going to do that, but put it all over on our card. So the one thing that she mentions in her Instagram tutorial or reel is that she starts out with a light color of paint. So something a little bit more diluted. So I'm adding a lot of water. And basically what she's doing is she creates kind of big blobby flowers with the center completely open. So let's just try one. She goes kind of like a blob and then another little blob and then, you know, and then like that. So it's really blobby. And then she comes in with a more intense, what's the word? A more intense shade with more color while it's still wet, and just uses the very tip of her brush and adds that color to the center of the flower and then just lets it go and lets it sit. So we're not going to touch it. In fact, I might even have a little too dark of pink. So I'm going to dilute it down even more. It's almost turning purple down here. But I'm going to do another little blobby flower or big blobby flower, depending on how you look at it. It is kind of a big one, actually. Just leave that center open and then come in with that darker shade. This is a much larger flower than the other one, but that's okay. And just let that color wick out from the center. This is my first time really trying flowers like this, so it's not looking quite the same as hers, but you know what? That's okay. Okay, I'm trying to remember. I think the next thing that she did was she got like a green shade. And then she did sort of like some she was doing like pine needles because it was a Christmas pattern. So I don't necessarily need to do that. But I'm trying to think how exactly I want to do this. I think maybe I'll just do kind of like a, I don't know, like wispy leaf shapes. I don't know. I'm just going for it. All right, so the way that she did the centers of the flowers, I thought it was so smart. She grabbed a metallic paint. So I'm going to go back to my metallic paints here. And what she did was she added like some little circular blobs right in the center, and then use the back of her brush to kind of drag them down so they look like stamen. Love this so much. The metallic is so pretty on it. I love it so much. I have to laugh. Andrew's talking about how some of my paints I'm hit and pan. On the other ones, I've hardly used them at all. You can tell which colors I use the most. I've got my reds, my golds, the pinks and purples, and some greens. Like these down here on this row, hardly touched. I have my Tim Holtz trimmer here. All right, so this one, I think I definitely want it to be on an A2 card. For this one, I think I want it to be on a square card. And then this one, I don't want to give up any of it. So I'm just going to trim off what I need to get it so it's edge to edge. And then I'll just center it on a 5x7 card. Something that you could also do with this background that has just little pops of gold on it is paint the edges of the cut paper with your gold paint. And it just gives just a little bit of a gold little frame on the outer edge. I think it's really, really pretty. Okay. There we go. Put that right there. And then this one goes on to 5x7 card base. And you just go light cuts over and over. That helps it from sliding too much. And also you won't injure yourself. There's the front of the card. And here's the back of the card. Okay, so there's that card. I used all Strathmore cold press pre-cut watercolor paper for my watercolor pieces today. It's a great watercolor paper. Oh, so cute, I love those. So for my greetings, I've used these a lot. I think this is my second set. And then when I adhere all of these, I like to take a black marker and let's see, where's my black marker? And just kind of paint the edges of the white cardstock so that it looks a little bit more finished. Almost like I white heat emboss the greeting. You can see how it has that white edge right there. And just use that black marker on that edge and no one will even know. I'm using waffle flower little foam strips. All right. And I always put them on a little bit wonky because I just love that look. I'll just put that right down there at the bottom. Love that. Alrighty. Yeah, I do want it at the top. I don't want to cover up that heart though, because it's so cute. Maybe right there. Is that about center? That's about center. Okay. Love. So here are all 3 cards that I finished up during my live stream tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. Varying levels of simplicity, but I think because of like the very freeform nature of all of these, there's nothing too precise. I think they all worked out really well. I'll be back on Wednesday. Well, technically, okay, I have to back up. Okay, so Tuesday, if you're a member of my premium channel here, my premium memberships here, I have the first live stream for February tomorrow. So if you have signed up for that monthly membership, make sure you can tune in tomorrow, or if you can't make it, that's okay. You can watch it on replay. Whatever I film tomorrow for my premium members, it will become a regular edited video here on my YouTube channel. So you all will eventually see the video, but it will be edited down. So you might not get all the little tidbits and little tips and tricks that I share with those who are watching the live stream. But anyway, that's tomorrow. Wednesday, I'll be back with live mail call. I'm going to be opening all of the cards that were sent to me in the month of January, and they were all Valentine's Day cards. And it just so happens that Wednesday is Valentine's Day. So it's going to be perfect. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you come back and join. That'll be 1 p.m. Mountain Time. It's the middle of the afternoon for most of us, so you can catch the replay later if you're unable to join us live. And then Friday, I'll be back with a regular video. So that is the plan for this week. Thank you so much for joining me today for this live stream, or if you're watching the edited replay. And I'll be back with all of you very soon. Thanks for watching.